If you've been following me for some time, you know that I specifically specialize in microcap stocks and penny stocks. That's all I do, right? And it amazes me how little other investors, smart people, know about this sector, but how opinionated they are about this sector. It's mind boggling to me. I swear to God, every single one of my companies that I ever got involved, every single one is a scam, it's a pump and dump, and it's trash. That's what I heard on every single company. Every single one that I am involved in, it's a scam, pump and dump, and it's trash. Okay? And the people that say that, it's mind-boggling how little due diligence they do, and they come to this conclusion. So the other day I was watching, and this video popped up by a guy that exposes scams, right? And it was this guy, Chris Norlund, talking about how ticker symbol U, which is another YouTube channel, got paid for a particular stock, and therefore it's a scam, right? And then I thought to myself, first of all, so this is the YouTube channel here. This is the guy, right? Ticker symbol U. He made this video April 21, 2024. And in this video, he talked about a stock, Poet Technologies, okay? So April of this year. So April is like somewhere here. So the stock did 4x since he talked about it. And this guy is accusing him that this is a pump and dump. And I want you to listen and react with me to this video, because when I saw this, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to investigate, see if Poet Technologies is a pump and dump. I'm going to investigate it because I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe it's not. Maybe this guy is just making a video just to get views. Maybe he's targeting a larger YouTuber to gain subscribers. I don't know. I'm going to investigate it because, again, I see these kinds of comments, these kinds of videos on penny stocks all the time. And it's just a matter of time before somebody like Chris makes a video about me, about this, because it's exciting, right? It's exciting to make a video about somebody else, you know, pump and dump, scam, it gets people angry, right? But then when you look deeper behind it, it's not as easy, right? So let's go ahead and react to this video, and you will see yourself how much research Chris Norland did to determine that this is trash, that Poet Technologies is trash, it's pump and dump, and there is nothing behind it. So let's have a listen.
Hi friends, welcome back. So we got to talk about ticker symbol U, the Alex guy. It looks like he's involved in a pump and dump, and this time with a penny stock. You can see here it says top 3 AI stocks I'm buying now as Nvidia crashes, right? Top 3 stocks ready to explode. And if you actually take a look at this, he'll say, okay, I'm going to do 3 stocks, AVGO and Qualcomm, which isn't so weird. Number 1 and number 3 aren't so bizarre, okay? But the thing is, he's sort of sandwiching the meat of the video, which is in the middle, and he spends the most time on it on this Poet stock. And I wanted to show you, just play a little bit so you guys can hear it for yourself.
Speaking of which, the second company I want to cover is called Poet Technologies. They're listed on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol POET. And
so I just wanted you guys to see, I'm not just making random stuff up. It's POET, it's like for $1. I guess at the time of recording, this was April 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern, right? And if you actually take a look at the stock, you can actually find the time. This is probably right when it closed. Maybe like in the after hours it shot up, or maybe that was like the next day, right? I mean, you can literally see it happening here. So that was, like I said, he looked like he did this video a couple days ago, and then suddenly the stock is mysteriously jumping up. This really smells like pump and dump. Now, the reason why it is a pump and dump sort of scenario is because normally, if a stock like this, and guys, just take a look at the history of this thing, so you can see it for yourself. I mean, this stock is junk.
So the stock is junk because of the chart. That makes a lot of sense.
It is a penny stock. It like spiked up back in 2014. Has been on a downward trend since. It is only like $100 million company, so very, very small company. And it gets mentioned by, this YouTuber who's got a fairly large following, and suddenly the stock spikes. And there is no news on that I can see of. There's no news. There's no news on this thing. And I even checked their website. There's no press releases or anything like that. When a stock moves like in this kind of way, like in a major move, and there's no news, and the only thing that is like some YouTubers pumping it up, guys, it's a pump and dump. There's no other way to put it.
Can you even make sense out of this? So now we are talking about 5 months later, okay? 5 months later, the stock is at 4 cents, $4, right? 4x from the time that, this ticker symbol U talked about it. But according to him, this is a pump and dump, right? Not backed by anything other than the chart. It's a pump and dump. It must be a pump and dump.
I'm going to show you this. This is called LFG equities, looking for gains, basically is what it means. And it looks like this is the sort of marketing / pump and dump agency that reaches out to YouTubers, etc., and promotes companies. It says here 2,500 influencer network, YouTube, Twitter, and Discord, right? You guys can see this here. And it's interesting because there's like no faces on this stuff. I was looking through this thing. It's like, I don't know who's running this thing. They got chat groups, newsletters, etc. Why we're different. We just know that they are in Toronto. Now, this looking for gains equities thing, they're working with Poet Technologies. This is actually a press release by Poet. It's dated April 17th, 2024. It says Poet augments investor outreach efforts and announces management role change. They're talking about here, I guess the president guy or CEO stepped down. That's Vivek or something. And this is something that I think is important, though, is right here. It says commencing later this month, LFG, an independent contractor based in Greater Toronto. So I believe it's referring to this one. This is LFG Equities. You can see this is based in Toronto. They talk about pumping up stuff with influencers, newsletters, chat groups, etc. Don't think this stuff doesn't go on. This is who you pay. Earned and paid media. It's all right here, guys. And it says here, we'll provide advice, content development, marketing services through social media, right? That's basically Alex and his YouTube channel, online media, and newsletter placements for the company. So basically, pumping up your scammy penny stocks. The agreement includes an initial payment of $25,000 with an option to increase at the company's discretion. So to my knowledge, Alex is the only one who has been paid. I'll just be honest. I don't have the contract that Alex has, right? I don't have any contract, but what we do have, we do have the press release from the company. We have the name of the company, and we know that Alex is pumping up this company on his YouTube channel, and that's the only thing that I saw on social media. The dates all line up as well. This is April 17th. Alex made his video a couple days later after this. The stock then pumps up. So this looks highly suspicious. I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on this one.
Okay, you'd like to get some thoughts on this one. Okay. Now, this has nothing to do whether something is pump and dump. Just because a company wants to get awareness, exposure, because when it comes to smaller companies, they don't get exposure. Smaller companies are treated the way you're treating this company. That just because it's $1 per share, anything below $5 is considered a penny stock. Money managers, financial advisors, people like yourself think that all of these companies are trash. So they have to somehow get people's attention, right? And just because they hire a company to get exposure, just because they hire a YouTuber to get exposure, doesn't mean it's trash, doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's a pump and dump.
What does this say here? It says neither hybrid nor LFE equities currently hold shares in Poet, and both have agreed to comply with all applicable security laws and policies of the TSX Venture Exchange in providing the services. So TSX Venture Exchange, that must be some sort of Canada's thing or something, but...
Okay, so TSX Venture, this must be something in Canada. Think about this for a second. A guy makes a video about a pump and dump, penny stocks, and he doesn't know what TSX Venture is. How can you have an opinion about microcap stocks or penny stocks when you don't even know what TSX Venture is? Do you know what Canadian Stock Exchange is? Do you know there's two exchanges? Two exchanges for new companies, venture companies in Canada. One is TSX Venture Exchange, which is like a subset of a Toronto Stock Exchange. There's a Toronto Stock Exchange main board for the big names. And then there is a Toronto Stock Exchange Venture for the small companies. And there's also another exchange called Canadian Stock Exchange. It's a separate exchange. It also caters to smaller companies. And smaller companies, most of them trade in pennies. So most of them are penny stocks. But that doesn't mean they are all trash. But talking about pump and dump and not knowing what TSX Venture is, it's kind of dumb. I would suggest you educate yourself on microcap stocks, what kind of exchanges there are. You know, I even wrote a book, MicroCap Investor. I suggest you read it. I'm providing you a link in the description below, because if you educate yourself, you might be better at discovering scams, okay? And you might not look for scams where they don't exist. Because up to this point, there's nothing in this video that shows me that Poet is a pump and dump or Poet is a scam. It might be a scam, but you did not provide any evidence that this is a scam.
I don't know, guys. This all sounds very, very sketchy to me. It's run out of Canada, and suddenly, magically, after this press release, Alex is pumping up the stock. So I want your guys' opinion on this thing, and what do you think?
Okay, so here's another thing that I will give you since you're asking for opinion. These smaller companies on these exchanges, whether it's Toronto Stock Exchange or Canadian Stock Exchange, get very little attention, okay? And they are public companies. And as a public company CEO, your job is to expose the company to more investors. Because when you're talking about venture companies, they are young companies that are not profitable yet. Venture, you can look up the definition of what a venture is. It's new companies, growth companies that maybe are developing an asset, or maybe they're developing a business and they are not yet profitable, okay? And they need to tell their story. Because if they don't tell the story, then their stock trades so little that any little dilution wipes out the existing shareholders. Let me give you an example. I am looking right now at a company that has revenues, but revenues are not required for something to have a value. If you have unique technology, something might be valuable. But anyway, this particular company has revenues, okay? And it's a manufacturing company, and they have about 40 million of revenues, okay? They are cash flow positive, not a lot, but they're cash flow positive. They have about 40 million of revenues. And because nobody knows about them, because they don't go out and hire companies for brand awareness, they don't go out and engage YouTubers or anybody to tell their story. Their company is trading for about 10% of what they're worth. 10%, okay? And that's problematic. Why is this problematic? Because they would like to merge with another company, okay? Another company that's very similar in terms of revenue profile. So both companies have 40 million revenues, something like this, okay? One is public and one is private, okay? The one that's public should be worth about 80 million, but it's only, the stock price is only so low that the market cap is about 8 million. It's not worth $8 million, but that's what the market says it's worth, $8 million, because the management failed to tell the story, okay? So now these two companies want to merge, but the private company says, well, we're private. We also have 40 million of revenues. We are worth 80 million. And they're correct. They're worth 80 million. Both of them are worth 80 million. But one, because it's a private company, they can say what they're worth. They can hire an appraiser, and they're worth 80 million. And guess what? They cannot merge together. Because this company says, well, you're worth 8. And they're like, well, no, we're not worth 8. We're worth 80. That's not what your stock price says. So they cannot merge. And if they merged, then the private company owners would lose all this money because now the stock would show that it's only 10%. And it's problematic. And it's problematic because if they merge together, that would create a lot of value for both shareholders. But they cannot do this because most people think that all penny stocks are trash. Right? It doesn't matter they have revenues. They're trash. And if they try to expose themselves, it's a pump and dump. So then, therefore, they don't do it. And this is the problem, that it's their job to do this, especially when there's shareholders that give them money. Because remember, they're not profitable yet. So shareholders give them money to keep them afloat until they become profitable. But don't you think that if you are a shareholder that is giving money to a company like this, don't you think that it would be in your best interest for that company to tell the story to others so that this company doesn't trade for 10% of the value? That's why these companies need to do exposure. That's why these companies need to do brand awareness. It is their job, and it is not illegal for them to tell the story. And it doesn't matter, how it looks to you. Most of the time, it's not a scam.
It's a shame. I don't particularly care for the Alex guy, but I didn't know he was doing this kind of stuff. Now, this kind of crap goes on YouTube all the time. There's Alex guy again. I just want to make sure you see his freaking face. This kind of stuff does go on in YouTube where YouTubers are paid to pump penny stocks. The reason why also, too, this is really sketchy, I looked up the company's CEO, right? And actually, the company's CEO appeared on this channel, Wall Street Silver, which is basically a gold and silver pumping channel.
Okay, so just because the CEO appeared on another YouTube channel, that makes it a scam? Is this how you look for scams? Because I still haven't seen an evidence of a scam.
It's one of those kind of channels. And this is the CEO right there talking with that person. And essentially, it's the same kind of scenario, right? It's like, why are you going on these, types of channels to pump up your said stock?
Again, why is a CEO go on a type of channel? Put yourself in the shoes of a CEO. You have a responsibility to your shareholders to tell the story. What are you going to do? Are you going to just sit and let the market destroy your valuation because you're afraid that somebody like you will make a video about them? Is this what they're supposed to do? Is this what you would do if you were the CEO of a public company that happens to be trading on Canadian Stock Exchange, OTC, or Toronto Stock Exchange venture that you don't know what it is? Is this what you would do if you were the CEO?
I also find it really questionable as well, because guys, you check everything. Institutional ownership is only like 2%, so very few people in terms of big money has this thing.
That's correct. That's correct, because companies that are of a certain size, below $100 million market cap, below 200 million market cap, institutions cannot invest in those companies. Again, if you educated yourself on microcap stocks, penny stocks, you would know this. And that's why an opportunity for retail investors exists in a microcap space, because there is no competition from institutions, because institutions cannot invest in them. Therefore, if you're an individual investor, you can roll up your sleeves and you can find the ones that are interesting, the ones that have interesting technologies, interesting businesses, and you can find them before the institutions come in.
I was looking at this like, it's like really small numbers. Like, oh, Morgan Stanley has $200 of this. Paragon Capital has $170 in this thing. Royal Bank of Canada has $36. Like it's really basically nothing.
And you see, and this guy has no idea about the microcap space, is making a video about something he doesn't know about, trashing some other YouTuber and misleading his viewers. Because think about all the people that didn't invest, didn't make 4 times their money because they're listening to somebody that doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't know what else to say. I can also look at the numbers as well. I can see they're losing money. You guys can see that was quarterly. This is annually. They were losing money. I was looking at their financials.
So think about this. This is his due diligence. Here, I'm going to go. This is his due diligence. He goes to Poet Technologies. He goes to here and he says they're losing money and therefore it's a trash. It is just mind-boggling to me. Like you honestly think that you can just look at these numbers and being like, yep, it's trash. And so let me show you another example. If he was making a video about me, I've been talking about Aduro Clean Technologies. Since 2002, look what happened to the stock since 2002. It is like almost 300%, right? But if you did his due diligence on Aduro Clean Technologies, you would be like, oh, well, look at this. Oh, they're losing more and more money. This is trash. That's his. He wouldn't go. It took me 4 weeks. It took me 4 weeks of studying Aduro Clean Technologies to realize that they have something special, that they have technology that will change the world, that they have technology that nobody else in the world has the technology to recycle plastic. They do. But if he does the video, if he does the due diligence, here, oh, Aduro is a pump and dump. Look, they're losing money. You see, this is what's wrong. They have no idea how to do due diligence, but they open their mouth.
It looks like to me that they've been losing money for the past, at least that I count, 10 years. We're talking in the millions of dollars. There's no compelling reason why you would want to jump into this thing other than the stock is going up because somebody's pumping it, and the pumper is namely Alex. I don't know what else to say.
I know what to say. I spent a few hours on Poet, and I would need to spend probably 3 weeks to figure out whether there's something there. But looking at the numbers, just skimming through the numbers tells you nothing, because smaller companies are not like bigger companies. They might be investing in a technology. They might be investing money in the technology. And on the financial statements, it might show losses after losses after losses because they're investing in an asset. And that asset might be so good, might be solving such a problem that it will generate future revenues. And investors today are looking at the future and then discounting it to presence and figuring it out. How much market share can this company take in the future? How much revenue can it generate? Financials in the past showed you what happened in the past. It doesn't show you what happens in the future. So looking at it like this is just not a correct way of looking at it. So if you want to find scams, then roll up your sleeves and do the job and learn. And here's another thing. I don't know Alex. I have no idea who he is. Okay? This video popped up. I have no idea who he is. He's not my friend. But here's what I do know, okay? Here's what I do know from my contact. The other day, I got this text, okay? Somebody, a person that I know, wanted me to get involved in an AI company, small microcap AI company, because I am in microcap space. That's what I do. I talk about microcap companies, right? But what people don't understand is that the companies that I talk about are the companies that I am invested in, that my group of my investors invest in them. And I also get paid, because if I don't get paid, they're going to trash my people's money. Here's what I mean. If my people put in $1 million into a microcap company, do you think I'm going to allow them not to have awareness? Do you think I'm going to allow them to destroy my people's hard-earned money? No. I'm going to force them. I'm going to force them to have a brand awareness, because I'm going to make sure that they are valued properly. Okay? So that when they do dilute in the future, they don't sell their stock at 10% of their value. Okay? That's why I make sure that they give me money so that I can give them proper exposure. But if he was making a video about me, he would just look at the amount that I have to legally disclose, and he'd be like, it's a pump and dump. But he wouldn't know that I have $2 million of my own money in it, because he wouldn't do the research required to do that, right? But anyway, I want to tell you what I know about Alex, okay, through my contacts. So I got this text the other day. Any interest in taking on an AI company? They will pay you $200,000 to $400,000 cash. That's what I was offered. And I declined because I don't have expertise in the AI company. Second of all, I'm not for sale. I only talk about companies that I own. And once I own them, once my people own them, then I force the companies to pay me so that I can give them the exposure that's necessary. But I'm not going to take money from somebody just because they want exposure. That's not how I work. But this same company, this same AI company, you know who they reached out to, according to my contact? This guy, Alex. They reached out to him. Why? Because he lives and breathes AI. He talks about NVIDIA. He made so many videos. He knows a lot about AI. So they offered me $400,000. Do you know that he rejected them? He wasn't interested. So this tells me that whatever he talks about, he's not just for sale. But Chris wouldn't know that, right? Because he doesn't, if he does the kind of research on companies like Poet, by looking this and saying this is trash, of course he doesn't know that. But it's exciting to make a video about a topic that he doesn't know anything about. And it's exciting to expose a scam, have a nice thumbnail, say that Alex is a scammer, without actually doing any work to show that Poet is a scam or not, or whether Alex promotes scams, right? But the video gets views, and if you look at the comments below a video, oh, it's like people are so thankful for exposing it. People just missed 4x, okay, because they listened to this guy. And he doesn't even know what TSX Venture is, but he has an opinion, and he knows how to find scams, but he doesn't even know the exchange that those scams might trade on.
In his little presentation thing, it's actually pretty long too. And again, this is on a penny stock. He actually literally says right here, hey guys, this doesn't make money. It's a market cap. I'll play a little bit for you.
And they might keep diluting shareholders as they need to raise more capital. That's why Poet is going on my list of long-term moonshots, which usually end up being around 1% of my...
Like, what the heck is this?
What the hell is this? What the hell is what you're talking about is this? This has nothing to do with whether this is a scam. The guy told you it's a speculative investment, doesn't make profit. That doesn't make it a scam.
What is this? I mean, like, wait, and it's funny too. He's saying 50 million market cap. I don't know. At least according to this, it's 100 million. But I mean, whatever. Or actually, you know what? Actually, I take that back. So it would have been 50 million when he made the video, but then the stock has doubled, and all his fans are like, oh my god, thank you for talking about the stock, etc. But this is what a pump and dump looks like. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I just wanted to put this out there. What do you think? Do you think this guy's a pump and dumper? Or do you think he knows some like secret news that we don't know about? The other thing that's really sketchy is normally if someone makes a video about said thing, they would say like sort of how they discovered it, etc. People don't randomly find these kind of companies that are losing money for years, that are penny stocks. I think it's also based in Canada. And according to Google Finance, it only has 56 employees. So it's like a really small company. I don't know what to...
Okay, a really small company in Canada is losing money. Okay, I still don't see a pump and dump. I still don't see it's trash. Show me that it's trash.
Make of this, it looks like a pump and dump.
Here's what it looks like to me, okay? It looks to me that you made a video about a subject that you don't know anything about, and you targeted a larger YouTuber so that you can get views. That's what it looks like to me, okay? So if you want to find pumps and dumps and scams, because that's what your channel is about, then educate yourself. Educate yourself on penny stocks. Educate yourself on all the exchanges, okay? And learn how the market works, okay? Just because something is a penny stock, just because something is a company is looking for exposure, just because a YouTuber gets paid, just that means nothing in terms of whether something is a pump and dump or a scam. Nothing. If you want to find scams, educate yourself. And then you will have earned the right to talk about something because you educated yourself. But talking about something that you don't know anything about makes you just look like an idiot and makes your investors lose great investment opportunities.